long ago that even people who are very far left or were very far left would even admit that it was a terrible decision for a woman to have to make if she had to make the decision to have an abortion, and that it affects the woman, it affects the child, obviously in irreversible ways. But now it seems to be championed in a way, and people are advocating for you to have an abortion as opposed, Nicole, to giving you the choice to choose whatever you want. It's terrible, and it honestly seems like there's a moral decay that is set in our society, and I think it's contributed to some of it.
She's an idiot. So there's no other way to describe it. How she ended up becoming the spokesperson, because she's the only one stupid enough to go out there and to make the statements that are being made. Is it Donald that's telling her to make these statements? Does she think that these are statements that Donald wants to hear? Look, let me just give you a little background. Donald didn't want Eric to even marry Lara, all right? He wanted him to marry this girl, Amanda, all right? And Eric chose Lara. Fine, no problem. Everybody has the right to choose who they want to marry and who they want to love. Donald couldn't stand her, and he ignored her. He had nothing to do with it. He was insanely rude, to her, especially behind her back. But putting all that aside, and he even acknowledged this at a fundraiser in Washington, when he turned around, he said he saw Lara on television saying these wonderful statements. There were these amazing, wonderful statements being made. And I said, who's that? And someone had to tell him, that's your daughter-in-law. All right. And he goes, oh my God. And that then became a love fest. Like with everything with Donald, it became a love fest. Now she's out there trying to, of course, stay in Donald's good graces. Right? And she's saying the most obnoxious, the most disgusting and despicable shit that any one person can say. And she's doing it. Why? I don't know. She thinks maybe it's going to make Donald care about her more. But she has to understand, he doesn't give a shit about anyone or anything other than himself. And that includes his own flesh and blood. So she, as an outsider, will always be an outsider. And why she says these stupid, despicable things, I can only surmise that she's just an idiot. Look, here's the problem. They all think that they're Donald, including the kids. Look, remember when Don Jr. was getting out there, right? And he was screaming, my father says, right? And he goes on and on, yelling and screaming. And he's got Kimberly Gargoyle in the background yelling the same sort of nonsense. They're all playing to their dad because none of them were given any love as a child. And the only attention that they get is when they come to his defense. The problem is, to come to his defense means you have to say stupid, despicable, ugly, racist, sexist, misogynistic, xenophobic, homophobic, Islamophobic, anti-Semitic bullshit. That's the only way to stay in Donald's good graces. And listen, I would just turn around and say to him the same thing that Don Jr. said to me many years ago. I don't want to be anything like my father, right? You don't want to be anything like Donald, for all the reasons I just said.